Okay, this is your Biomolecule Lab video. It's going to be really short. Just want to tell you what you're doing tomorrow. Okay, you are going to do two types of tests. You're going to do a burette test, which you use to test for proteins, and you're going to do an iodine test and a Benedict's test to test for carbohydrates. Now, the Benedict's test tests for sugars, and then the iodine test tests for starches. Now, the procedure for each of these is pretty simple. Okay, so you may want to take notes of this. The protein, the burette test, you're going to add to a sample, a liquid sample of, a known protein solution. You're going to add sodium hydroxide. This is sodium, and then OH is hydroxide. And you're going to add copper sulfate. Now, the sodium hydroxide is clear. It's a base. It can be very dangerous, so you be very careful. Make sure we're wearing goggles. The copper sulfate is a lot safer than the sodium hydroxide, but you should also be safe. A good rule of thumb in your lab is anything that you don't know if it could hurt you or not, treat it like it could. Okay, so sodium hydroxide and copper sulfate, equal parts, and you're going to look for a color change. This is going to be a qualitative lab, not a quantitative lab. Okay, your carbohydrate test, you're testing two different things. You're testing for sugar and you're testing for starches. The Benedict's test is made with a Benedict solution. All you'll do is you'll add some Benedict solution to your sample. But the thing about the Benedict's test is you need to add heat, and we're going to do that. We're going to add heat by way of a water bath. We'll have some beakers with warm water in them, so you can set your test tube in the water. It'll heat up, and then you should see a color change there. Okay, the iodine does not need heat. Okay, but it's just going to be, you're going to add iodine, which is a brownish color. You're going to add the iodine to a sample with starches and a sample without starches, and to see what a positive result looks like and what a negative result looks like. Okay, so refresh. Protein or burette test, you're going to have two tubes. One's going to be a positive tube, and one's going to be a negative tube. Okay, so you have two tubes there. And then you're also going to have two tubes for your Benedict's test, a positive and negative. And you're also going to have two tubes for your iodine test, a positive and negative. All right? So, like I said, really short.